Sharing a new product coming out soon, and this is from Stone Age Gamer, and this is the Atari 7800 GameDrive. This is a multi-cart, but has lots of other features. This will be able to pre-order starting next week. It's not available yet, but it's going to be made in small batches, but eventually it'll be available for everybody. Just like the Atari Jaguar GameDrive, they also offer the HD Retrovision, which is compatible with this. I'm going to be sharing that, as well as the Mega 7800 adapter sold separately. And this is an amazing multi-cart, more than just a multi-cart. I'm going to be sharing some features. The Mega 7800 allows you to use Master System, Genesis 3 and 6 button, as well as the light phaser from Sega. I typically use the 6 button. You attach the GameDrive into your 7800 like that, and the AV out port is in the back, and you can attach the HD Retrovision cables like so, and then the light shows up. They also offer a deluxe case for your GameDrive that's separate, but it's pretty awesome and a nice way to store your multi-cart, put it on the shelf. Looks great and gives the info about what it can do. All right, so we're going to jump in. There are some other multi-cart options. There's a Concerto multi-cart, and this was a pre-production version. And there was the Dragonfly, which I do believe is not available anymore. Amazing, offers, multiple sound options, and was a fantastic option, but I don't think it's available anymore. There's also the Backbit. So the Backbit is a multi-cart that works with multiple computers and consoles, and that is available. I don't have one of those. All right, so here are the controllers, and I'm going to typically be playing lots of this with the 6-button Sega Genesis controller, but it's awesome that the Mega 7800 works with that. So first and foremost, you got to update your firmware, and just if you have a GameDrive, the Atari Jaguar GameDrive, very similar to that, and do that before you jump in. I'm using Trevor's Atari 7800 ROM pack, and it's compatible with this, just like the Dragonfly. I essentially just took that memory card and put it into my GameDrive, so it's awesome. And so I'm sure there's little differences, but for the most part works with ease, and so pretty awesome to see that. I'm just showing you the menu. There's so much that you can do. You can save states, love that, and you have the high score cartridge compatibility, love that feature as well as so much more. And so this offers lots of sound, the Yamaha sound. You can play through this, as well as dual pokey. Awesome to see that. Homebrews, prototypes, hacks, demos, all can be played. And I'm going to show Atari 2600 games in a bit as well. So there's so much that you can do with this multi-cart. It has literally everything. And is it perfect? No, it's not perfect yet, but you can update the firmware, as I know that's going to be how it's going to roll. So just a warning that there's flashing lights upcoming in the video for people that have epilepsy or seizure issues. Heads up. If you don't have the Mega 7800, you can use a standard Pro Line controller to navigate the menu. But I'm using the Mega 7800 in the second game port to show that the Sega phaser does work. It's not super accurate, but I'm using the HD Retrovision cables on a CRT, and it's functional. So I think that's awesome for the limited light gun games on the 7800. Kind of weird that they didn't have an actual light gun made for the 7800. It uses the XEGS light gun, or the 8-bit light gun. And so pretty crazy, but it works. Now on to testing the save states. What a great feature, and nice that you can play actual original games or homebrew games and save at any time. Go to dinner, turn it off, return to the game at a later time. It's nice to have this modern day feature now built into a multi-cart for the Atari 7800. Now some awesome sound. Then there was cool stuff like this. This is Outrun, a song from the classic arcade game, redone Yamaha sound chip, and wow. You then have aftermarket adaptations such as Donkey Kong. They took Donkey Kong, and this is a great conversion and with additional levels as well as the arcade sound. Absolutely brilliant. If you haven't played this version of Donkey Kong for the Atari 7800, it is the definitive version. It's one of my favorites with all the extra bells and whistles and looks great. Next you have Froggy with Pokey sound, I do believe. And again, you can play these homebrew games with that built-in sound chip with the GameDrive, no problem. Sound chip, the Pokey sound chip, as well as Yamaha, which is fantastic. I'm going to show that in a bit. And then there's Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest by Bob De Crescenzo, and he is Pac-Man Plus on Atari Age. All his games are functional on this. It's amazing to see that, and great to see a great soundtrack as well. And so this is a fun little platformer. It's really nice to see this homebrew working perfectly on this with the Pokey sound, the better soundtrack, and so pretty awesome. And you know, I beat this with a buddy of mine back in the day. It was just an awesome little platformer, pretty challenging, so definitely you got to get used to the control scheme. But once you do that, next is a Pac-Man Collection 40th anniversary. There's a little bit of glitchiness on the bottom of the screen. I don't know what that's about, if that's the HD Retrovision setup or if that's something else. Possible firmware update will be able to fix that. But anyways, it's working and sounding great. And so the definitive version of Pac-Man for the 7800. And then there's stuff like this. There's Ghosts and Goblins. And this is not finished. This was kind of a proof of concept. And so I don't know if this is ever going to be completed. It was taking the C64 version of Ghosts and Goblins and porting it to, or converting it to, the Atari 7800. No sound is on this. And this is a while back, so I don't know if there's any progress or if this was, canceled or abandoned. Anyways, there's also cool stuff coming like this. Daryl 1970 user on Atari Age, who was behind the awesome Popeye Atari 7800. Wow. I've been collaborating with him, and he's a programmer here, and this is an early build, and this is a work in progress with TIA sound currently. That may change, and we don't know when this is going to come out. We don't know if it's going to be finalized. We don't know if it's going to be on physical or digital only, but it's here, and I want to thank Daryl 1970 for programming this. And this next game is the amazing Rikki Vikki, and it's included with every purchase of GameDrive. You get a free digital copy of this sold-out physical. Here we go. The Atari 7800 version is top-notch. There was 5 core people, part of the team to work on this, and you know, everything about this is just simply stunning. There's a single-player and a multiplayer version of the game, where they're totally different puzzles. And so I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, and I'm going to show you the single player game. And you can play as Rikki and Vikki, or Rikki alone and Vikki alone. So very cool. I'm just going to play as Rikki and show you the first cave, which is one of, I think, 6 different areas. And so it's just simply amazing. It's just simply amazing. So there's a great intermission at the start of this experience. And so it's just, I mean, when I first played this, I'm like, I can't believe that this is an Atari 7800 card. And so it has amazing music, and the music is done by RushJet1, and he actually did a stream of the game of him playing on his channel, and so it's really cool. RushJet1, very talented. He talks about kind of some technicalities of the music and how he implemented it. Absolutely love this game. So, yep, playing as Rikki. And again, the single-player experience is totally different than the two-player experience. So, different puzzles. So, collecting keys. And so you have to collect numerous keys on each level to advance to the next puzzle. And so, that footage was taken from a former video that I did, but I wanted to show the game as it's stunning. Here's Catacombs of Chaos. This is a game I publish and is available on the VCS as well, and offer this at shows in both physical and digital ROMs. And so, yeah, it's a pretty awesome little dungeon crawler, but 2600's working pretty good. Here's Princess Rescue, and this is a remake of Super Mario Brothers for the Atari 2600. Pretty fantastic, and wanted to show it's working here. There's a little bit of jitteriness of the screen. I don't know if that's my HD Retrovision cable or if that's something that needs to be updated, but I noticed that on Atari 2600 games. And so it plays classics like Pitfall. This multi-cart does not play any of the specific like ARM enhanced homebrews. So unfortunately it doesn't play all the 2600 games. It plays everything that doesn't take an extra chip. And so, but there's still a majority of games, especially the release games back in the day, totally fine and works great with this multi-cart. And then you get awesome homebrews like this, and this is Pac-Man 8K, and this is like pretty much the definitive version of Pac-Man for the Atari 2600. I just want to show this. A lot of people don't know this even exists. It's fast, it's frantic, it's got all the bells and whistles from the arcade game in 8K. That's right, 8K. Now video comparison. Here is an Atari 7800 footage. I hooked this up actually to a VCR and then hooked it into a RetroTink 5X. So natively, you have RF out for the Atari 7800. It's terrible. On a CRT, it's fine. But if you're playing any other way, it's not great at all. Now, I've had my Atari 7800 modded, and this is AV, audio video, the red, white, and yellow cables, and Ivory Tower Collections did an amazing job. And, you know, he does wonderful work on hardware modifications, but what's cool about the GameDrive is it kind of does away with that if you just want to play digital ROMs. Now, he did mod my Atari 7800 with S-Video. This is the footage from that, and it looks amazing. Like, I've been using the S-Video modded Atari 7800 for a long time. Now, if you want to play physical carts, this is still the way to go, as really the only downside is that the video out is through the multi-cart, and so if you want to play physical carts, you have to go with a hardware modification, and thank goodness that Ivory Tower Collections does that. This is component, and this is just HD Retrovision. This is showing it through the GameDrive, and it looks stunning. Now, I wanted to do a quad comparison. As you can see, the component video looks stunning, and there's also options in the GameDrive to adjust color and hue and all that to make it, just tweak it per game. I love that feature. That's amazing. So at the end of the day, what are you waiting for? Go to Stone Age Gamer and you can sign up for notifications. It's going to be starting to be available, I do believe, next week, and so the last week of July. And you are in for a treat if you sign up for this. There's also the Mega 7800, and this is going to be made in batches. And so rest assured, if it sells out, don't worry, there's more coming. Kind of like the Atari Jaguar GameDrive, it's going to be done in batches. And so, and the HD Retrovision, which is available now, it's expensive. There's also the Insurrection SCART cable, which is another option. And if you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you take care.